Welcome to another episode of Metal and Beer. Today I am trying out the Snowdrift Vanilla Porter by Leinenkugel, so I'm eager to drink this. Let's crack this open here. So the cool thing here, I just read this about Leinenkugel. They've actually been around since the 1800s, 1867 to be exact. It was started by a man by the name of Jacob Leinenkugel, and his family, I believe, migrated to Wisconsin from Germany. So in the brewing process, in creating his beers, they were heavily German influenced. And I've tried some other of their beers as well, and I'll put some more of those on the show at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, just a really interesting story. You guys know I always leave the website to these breweries in the YouTube description. I want to support our beer makers as much as I possibly can. Man, that's a dark beer. And actually, I think this is the first porter that I've had on the Metal and Beer show here. I usually review IPAs because, you know, I drink a lot of IPAs, but I do love other types of beers, in case you're wondering. And I'm a big fan of porter beers as well. So again, the Snowdrift Vanilla Porter. Now, this is at 6%, and of course the IBU is pretty low. I think the IBU is like 16. Let's give this a taste. Now, to be transparent, I've already had a taste of this. I just bought this yesterday, and I only had one. Immediately, it's malty. Like, you get that malty aroma hitting you. Cheers. Wow. So you've got the vanilla flavor in there. You can taste that. It's not dominating though, but you can taste those hints. You've also got some hints of cocoa, and I'd say the coffee taste in there, I don't want to say it's strong, but that's probably the more prominent flavor that you're going to taste in this. Which that's a really nice mix of flavors. Now, me personally, I love all of those. I love vanilla. I'm a coffee fanatic. My wife and I both are. We'll drink, coffee pretty much every day. And of course, I love cocoa as well. So really nice mix of flavors here. It does have that bold porter taste that you would expect. Maybe a little bit more bold than some of the other porters, that I've tasted. And this is definitely a wintertime beer. And I don't even know how to explain this, but you guys know what I'm talking about. There's some beers that kind of relate to summertime, right? Like a lot of your IPAs, of course, that bright and sunny, it's just got that feel and taste to it. But porters, darker porters, and specifically this one here with the different flavors going on, this is definitely getting you into that fall mood and that wintertime mood. In fact, I looked on the website, the Snowdrift Vanilla Porter, this is only served, I believe, through November through February, I think it is. And I actually picked this up in October just a few days ago, so I guess I got an early release. But this is not available year-round. And by the way, I'm actually filming this on October 31st, so happy Halloween if you're watching this on the release date. But yeah, this is a solid brew here. I'm digging it. I'm liking this a lot. Now, as I'm drinking more of this, I'm starting to taste a little bit of sweetness come out too, and that's from the caramel that's in here. Now, one other thing, and this pertains to the vanilla part of the Snowdrift Vanilla Porter, it's actually aged on real vanilla. So you're getting that true flavor. It's not like the artificial vanilla flavors that you get in, a lot of other stuff in general. I think that's cool, and I think that really brings out some awesome flavors in this beer. And of course, as you would expect with all these flavors we're talking about and just being a porter in general, it does have that kind of creamy feel to it as well. Goes down smooth, but of course it's got a little bit of that boldness to it too. So man, this is a really nice beer. I may just finish off the rest of the 6-pack I got downstairs, Again, this is the Snowdrift Vanilla Porter by Leinenkugel. Very awesome beer. Now let's get to the metal part of Metal and Beer. Now the album I want to highlight in this Metal and Beer episode is from a band who I consider one of like the original thrash metal bands. I mean, they were in the scene at the time that Metallica, Megadeth, Overkill, Testament, all these other bands, Anthrax, were just really pushing the limits. And the band is Death Angel. Okay, so they were around, I think they formed in the early 80s, but then around the early 90s, they seem to have kind of fallen off. I guess they took a break or something like that. Maybe like 10 years or so later, they got back in the scene, but I didn't really pay too much attention to them during that time until this album came out. And this was in 2013 when they released The Dream Calls for Blood. And actually the first song I heard off that album was the title track, The Dream Calls for Blood. And man, it just kicks in, and it's the epitome of thrash metal. You know, this band did not change really much of anything, except for the fact that, of course, after playing for so many years, they're more talented because your talents grow and evolve. But they really stuck to their roots in thrash metal, and I really appreciate that, because a lot of bands, as they grow, and again, bands and musicians, we all evolve over time. It's a natural thing to happen, but I've seen so many metal bands, and you have too, that have kind of gotten to a point and just really gotten away from their roots. And I won't name any names here, but they're playing music, but it's just not quite the same not the same vibe as what it was. This specific album though just kind of hit me. You know, you have those albums you listen to and it's like, okay, that's it for me. And The Dream Calls for Blood is it, man. Especially that title track. Again, that was the first track I heard. But then I went back and listened to the entire album. I'm like, man, this is just a phenomenal album. And this is one of those albums I can truly listen to from start to finish. I can put it on and there's really no skippers on there for me. It's just an amazing album. So again, Death Angel, The Dream Calls for Blood. And one last time, this is the Leinenkugel Snowdrift Vanilla Porter. Guys, I will have links to Leinenkugel's website, and also I'll have a link to The Dream Calls for Blood. I'll have a link to their video for that song in the YouTube description of this video. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please give this video a thumbs up and support Metal and Beer, and make sure you're subscribed and ding the little bell. I'll see you in the next video.